Are we live? Okay. Hello everyone, this is Vedant here, and here I have Apurva with us. So today we'll be learning two topics. First is functions in Python, and the second is modules in Python. So let's start. So guys, brace yourselves. New programming concepts are coming. So let's start with functions. So let's see what we're gonna learn in function. So we'll see how do we define a function, how we call it a function, how do we pass arguments, what does function return, what are the different arguments that we can pass, what about method overloading, if else in a function, and some interest in a complex function example. So let's see what are functions. Basically, functions are a convenient way to divide your code into useful blocks, allowing us to order our code and make it readable and reuse and save it for some time. Okay, so coming to simple words, basically, some many of the times you need to use the same thing again and again. So putting that thing so many times in the code increases its length. So why not define something which is reusable? You just define it once, and if you wherever you want to use it, you can use it. Okay. So I just know the font size is also is fine. Yeah. So let's start functional programming. So first of all, let's come to the basic syntax of a function. So in a function, the syntax is pretty simple. There's a keyword def, then space, function name, then normal brackets, then colon, and then comes a tab. So the way we give an indentation in if else, in while loop, in for loop, similarly we have to give indentations in functions as well. So let's run this. So the thing is, there wasn't any output by this function. So for any function to give its output, we need to call it. So why is my function not outputting anything? Because we never called it. So let's call the function. So we can see that the function name was my_underscore function. Let's call that function. Okay, so now here we can see the output. So one thing to observe here is that we define cell of collab, say in Jupyter notebook, and I am calling it in the next one. So this thing works. So what if I have to define a function which does nothing? So we have a keyword pass. Say it did nothing and there wasn't any output. So why do we use it and where do we use it? So sometimes it is possible that there might be some circumstances where you know that you will have to define this, but you don't know what content the function should have. So you just name it def, the function name, and just put a keyword pass. That's it. And whenever you think that now, yes, now I can define this function, you can just come up here and define it. Now we'll move to the return keyword in a function. So when you define a function, you define it in order to get something from it, something after the processing work, and it will compute something and give you the final output. So whatever is provided or returned by the function is mentioned by this line. So return space whatever you have to return. So here I'm returning a string force. Okay, let's run this. So yeah, we can see we saw the force, right? Let me add one more line here. Print type of, just copy the function. Okay. Okay, perfect. Let's run this. So yeah, the string is written. So may the force be with you and guys stay safe. Let's move or say proceed further. So it is obvious that if you want a function to compute something, and there definitely it will be needing something on which basis it will be giving us output, right? So this is nothing but passing arguments to a function, passing some data to a function. So suppose if I define some data, say a string Python, and I just call that function with passing awesome inside it. Okay, so it prints awesome. So what it does is this string awesome is passed to this function in the variable data. Here you can define anything, even d. You can define here uh, xyz. Okay. Now the thing is you can print here xyz, or else you can return here and then print it. But here here we are just calling, we aren't printing it like print and then braces and then the function name. So we are adding the print statement in the function itself, and hence it is printing. Okay, let's run this. Then now I have passed a hard coded input directly the string inside the function. You can do some data also, and it will give us output Python. So let's proceed further. Now there are chances that you need not have to give a single input. You have to give multiple inputs. Say suppose you have to make an application like a normal calculator or something. So obviously you'll need something like add function, multiply, subtract, and all. And for which we need two arguments, right? To add two numbers, we first of all we need two numbers. So I'm just passing two numbers 2 and 3 here, which are stored in temporary variables a and b, and I'm returning a and b. Okay. So now here I'm just calling the function. Let's say what it gives us. So yeah, it gave us 5. So why? Because 2 plus 3 equals 5. Similarly, you can just subtract it. You just need to do this, and yes, it will subtract it for me. Okay. Now there's a concept that is there in majority of the programming languages, which is called method overloading. Okay, so am I clearly audible? Yeah. If there are any queries, post it in the chat. I'm there. Yeah, moving forward, there's a concept known as method overloading in many of the languages like Java and all. Okay. So suppose if I define a function, so as we can see, I have defined one function here, another function here, and the third one here. The only difference is that here I'm passing only a single argument, I. Here I'm passing 2, and here I'm passing 3. Okay. So what if I'm passing, suppose I have to call the first function. I'll just do type test of 3 and let's run it. So yeah, I'm getting an error. It says test 2 missing 2 required positional arguments j and k. So the thing is, even if you define function n number of times, only the function which is defined at the end is accepted, even if the arguments or the number of arguments passed inside the function are different. So even if I use 3 comma 3, still it will give me the error, but it will say one required positional argument is missing. Why? Because here we need 3, but we gave 2. Suppose if I remove this function, okay, and then I run it. So it executes because it is 3 and 3 are passed in I comma j, and I am printing I. Okay. So any doubt on this? Okay. So question is question by Upendra Singh is that, so why your program giving output? You are not using print keywords such as print add 2 comma 3. Okay. So the thing is, this is a specialty of Colab that you did not use the print keyword. Okay. So suppose if I just do, I have defined a function add, right? I'll just do add. Okay. So you can just type 2 and run it. You get output 2. Okay. I can do print 2. Still, I'll get the same output. This is the specialty of Colab that it gets executed and it even prints what is returned. So suppose if I just do return I. Okay. So requires one put. Okay, I'll just pass one more and I'll run it. So see, even if I'm not using any print statement, because okay, so now because this is the last function that is defined, forget the first previous two functions. So for us, the only thing that we have is this much. I have a function and I am calling that function. That's it. So this is just the specialty of Colab. That's it, nothing more. Yes, it's application. You can use print to it. It still works. Okay. Do what changes are done so that it is available to you for further use. Okay. So now let's come to a simple application. Say a function is so in the easy logic that uh, to check whether a function is even or not, you just need to do modulo 2, and if modulo 2 equals 0, then yeah, it's even, because say 4 minus 2 is 2, then again minus 2 is 0. Yeah, it's true. So this function will return true if it is even. Let's run it and check if 3 is even or not. No, it's not, because we got 4 as answer. So guys, there's a small homework sort of thing for you here. Like in previous sessions, we checked how we can convert if else block into a single line. You can just try it at home and do it in a shorter way. But here we'll try doing it in a much shorter as per what we had seen. So now this is based totally on the logic that when we use any operator, it returns us boolean. It returns us whether it is true or false. So we can, one thing that we can do is just return true if the condition, else return false. But what here we can do is we can just, okay, so I'll just comment these 4 lines and write, yeah, return n modulo 2 double equals 0. So guys, if I run this cell where I have function defined by these 2 lines and I'm calling the function by this line, what output will I get? Anyone? So let's see. Let's run this once. False, because even just this single line is equivalent to if else, because at the end this n modulo 2 double equals 0 is gonna return me false, and that is returned by this whole function. So I guess this thing is clear to you guys. I'll just undo it. Perfect. So let's see one interesting thing about functions, that it can define a function inside a function. Let's see how. Yeah, so where do we need a function? So suppose there's a pretty much complex code that you have written, and suppose there are some things that you need to add. So suppose a long time ago I did a ML project, machine learning project, where I had things defined in so many functions, but at the end I didn't want to pass, like I didn't want to run it like one function is running after another and then so on. I just wanted it to go in a single run. So suppose here I have a function which is defined def orange, and there are some other functions as well, and I want to run them in a single go. What I'll do is I'll just cut paste the whole part as it is into another function apple. Okay. So first of all, just remove this. Let's just remove this line and run it. Okay. So as we can see that there is no output. So the thing is, the way we saw earlier that if we define a function, we need to also call it, right? So similarly here, the function is defined in this function, but it is never called. So let's bring it up. So I've defined also called orange here, and now it will give us output. It works. Let's see. Voila, it works. So moving forward, there's a meme that how do functions break up? They stop calling each other. Okay. So can anyone tell me what concept are we gonna see by this GIF? Seems interesting, isn't it? And don't ever think that I'm trying to, hypnotize you with something of that sort. Anyone? Infinite loop. Yeah. Aditya, show your clues. There's something which is pretty much close to infinite loop. That if you make a mistake, it goes into an infinite loop, which is again related to functions. So yeah, let's see what it is. Exactly, it is recursion. No, Prakash, it's not exactly a nested loop. It is recursion. So let's see what recursion is. So you guys have found, you guys might be knowing how to find a factorial of a number. So suppose if I have to find factorial of say 6, so 6 is nothing but factorial of 5. Because let's see what a factorial is. Factorial of 6 is 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. That's it. Which is also like 6 into factorial of 5, because 6 into 5 onwards is nothing but factorial of 5. Then after 5, 6 into 5, and then 4 onwards is nothing but factorial of 4. Then 3 and then 2. So basically, this is how recursion works. Once in the first step, in the first half, all the functions are called 6 into factorial of 4 and so on till 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into factorial of 1. And we define an ending condition, which is what if factorial of 1 is there or some factorial of 0 is there. Then it should return 1. Now it is written 1, then we multiply 1 into 2, then that is returned to here, which is 2. Then we multiply 3 into 2, which returns 6. Then we multiply 6 into 4, 24 into 5, 120, and 120 into 6, 720. This is how we compute a factorial. And best way to find a factorial is recursion. So let's see. I know this concept is a bit difficult to understand, and it is difficult for many. So let's see how do we code a factorial. So in factorial, basically, or say in your recursive function, there is one thing that is very important, or we can say two. That first is that what normally it should do, and because in order that it shouldn't reach an infinite loop like this, we define a condition where it should terminate, right? So as you can see, this is some vegetable, I guess, or something. It is just going on rotating, and at a point it comes to an end. Similarly, this is the okay. So this is a function def, function name, a parameter passed, an if else condition, and finally a returns some return statements in if else. So let's understand this. So here we saw 6 into factorial of 5 and then 5 in factorial of 4. So it's nothing but if I have a number n, suppose say 6, then 6 into factorial of 5. Similarly, n into factorial 6 into factorial of 5 means 6 into factorial of 6 minus 1, which means n into factorial of n minus 1. It goes on until it reaches an ending condition, which is factorial of 1. So, what is factorial of 1 or 0 or any number which is less than that? We don't have to make it recursive. So, this line n into, okay, so in recursive function, a function calls itself. So, we have factorial, which is called inside the function factorial itself. But it ends in this situation where n is less than 2. N less than 2 means it is either 1 or 0 or less than that. But whenever it reaches 1, we aren't making it more recursive, we are just returning 1. And hence we get output of, say, suppose factorial of 6. I'll remove these two lines or comment this line temporarily. So let's see. Yeah, so we saw we got 720 here. 6 into 120, here we get 720, right? Suppose you have to find factorial of say first 10 numbers, first 10 whole numbers. Let's run it and find it out. What we get. So see 1, 1, 2, 6, 24, 120, 720, 5040 and blah blah blah. Okay. So this might be difficult to understand. So I would suggest you to go through the file once or go through the video once in order to understand it in a simpler. So this is what is a recursion. You learn to program a recursive function, but if you forget an exit condition, it again goes to the same infinitely. This is what you don't have to let it happen. That's why we put an ending condition. So the final thing that we'll see is what if why Python is better than other languages. The thing is that in say Java, even in Java, that you can return only a single thing, a single object of a string or a number or anything or an array. So the thing is, if what if you have to return multiple things? Python is a language which gives us an provision to do this. You just have to do 2, 3, whatever you have to find. Say even true, means like boolean, string, everything. You just print it. Yeah. So we can see that we got everything in the output. So one thing to observe here is that the braces are normal braces, right? So let's see what. So the thing is, okay. So let's find out what it returns us. Any guess based on the braces what it is returning? Anyone? Okay, let's see where is I is not. Here I is not initialized, is it? In previous program. Okay, so let's clear this doubt first. Till that, guys, you can think on this what this function is returning. So the thing is this one, right? So and this previous there wasn't any I. Yeah. So for I, yeah, yes, Lavina, exactly that's tuple that is returned to us. So when we define a for loop, we see that we have arrange function. So basically what happens is that arrange is a function that takes values from 0 to n which is passed here is 10. So these values are stored temporarily in a variable I. In each iteration the value of I changes. So in first it is 0, in second it is 1, which goes on till this number minus 1. Now why this number minus 1 is that? Okay, so let's see. 0 space 1 space 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So here 0 to 10 it becomes 11. So 0 to 9 it becomes 10 different numbers. So basically this parameter here defines us how many numbers it should have. Now range of 10 is different, range of 10 comma. Okay, so we have taken iteration or say for loop etc. in our previous lecture, so you can just view that and understand this in detail. So yeah, I guess Prakash, your doubt is clear. If not, then you can just post it in the chat. We'll take it again if the question is something different. So yeah, exactly, Lavina and Amethyst. It is tuple. Let's print type of tuple. Said type of what is returned. So yeah, we get a tuple. So there's the last topic for functions is anonymous functions. So why anonymous function? So it's like there are situations where you need to define a function, but here like we saw, I defined a function with name return multiple, right? But I don't have to use this name because there are chances that I might have to use it somewhere else. So, but the task is pretty much simple. I have to return just this thing, that's it. And hardly suppose if I have to just a bit of processing, why to spare, why to use that name, right? So anonymous function basically just are those functions which are temporarily used in order to not to use the name of. Okay. So so in an anonymous function we have lambda function, which is again a small anonymous function which can take any number of arguments but can have only one expression in it. So suppose we saw function to find sum of two numbers, right? Let's make it sum. I defined a function, I guess sum, and I did it, right? Here I can do is I can define lambda. So syntax of lambda is lambda space what are the arguments you have to pass. Arguments like suppose you have to find sum of two numbers. Numbers might be say 5 and 6. So we need to provide two arguments A and B, the numbers to be added, colon and expression. Expression is nothing but the operation that needs to be carried out. So lambda, the arguments and then the expression. So let's see what output do we get here. So yeah, we get 11 by addition of 5 and 6. Again, jumping to the thread why lambda functions, because again we need to define it for a shorter duration. So let's understand one complex thing about lambda functions, that suppose if I define a function, say my func, and return a lambda function. So it's something like function inside a function. So if I have defined my func which takes one argument, so I'm passing 2 to it, and that is stored in my doubler. And my doubler, I'm printing my doubler and passing 11 to it. So if my func has a lambda function which is using a variable a, then whatever I'm passing in my doubler, which is 11, gets passed here automatically. So I'm getting n from as argument of my func, which is 2, and I'm getting a by 11 here. So 11 colon 11 into n. N is 2, so 11 into 2. So that's why it is written in just 22. Now to ensure what is the variable that is this n, this is the one which is passed here. So that's why I printed here 2. Let's just remove this and run it. So yeah, we get 22. So guys, do you have any doubts till far? Use of lambda function is, suppose here to temporarily define a function, say for a shorter period of time, and hence you did not put a whole name to the function. Like for example, I have defined my func, so you did not have to put it. That's why we just define it that way. Any more doubt, size? Okay. And if there aren't any, if there are, we'll take it later, or you can just post it in the WhatsApp group. So that's it for the functions, guys. This was Vedant here, and now the session will be continued by Apurv. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Vedant. Am I audible to everyone? Please reply with a yes in the chat box. Well, is my screen visible to all?
Apurva, I just these pips haven't got a lambda function well. So I
Okay,
think I'll take it once. Is it fine?
sure.
Yeah, sure. Perfect. Okay, I'll just share my screen. Sorry, Aditanshu, please let my screen go there and we'll move forward. The last function, the my func and doubler thing. Yeah, sure. So the thing is, let's first of all zoom it up and understand what is written. So suppose I have defined a function my func. Okay. So let's just do n equal to n plus 2. Okay, so suppose this is a normal programming concept that if I have to do some operation on some variable, this is something out of the function. Okay, this is not related to function. This is just a thing that as a programmer you should know. So n equals n plus 2. I can also write it as n plus equal to n plus equal to 2. So this will what it will do is it will be same as n equals n plus 2. What I'm doing is I'm adding 2 to n and assigning that value again to n. So n plus equal to 2. So here 2 is passed in my func that is defined by this function here. Now this 2 goes to the variable n. I'm incrementing 2 to that n. Hence value of n becomes 4 finally. And then I am defining my doubler. So my doubler is nothing but my doubler equal to my func of 2. But because we are returning a lambda function where it needs one more argument which is a. So that argument is passed to my doubler which is 11. Okay. So this 11 goes to my doubler and which explicitly puts the value of a equals 11. So here we have 11. So this 11 is transferred to this A and we take the value of n from here which was initially passed as 2 where we added 2 to it. So it becomes 4. So basically what it is doing, it is multiplying uh, A which has value 11 which is passed from my doubler and multiplying it with the value of n which is 4 because we added 2 to what was passed, so it becomes 4. So let's see what output it gives to us. 44, right? I hope you guys understood this. If not, you can text me in the WhatsApp group, or if needed you can also DM me. So I hope it is explained. Yes, yes, Upendra. It's 44, and I just produce you are also going to type 44. So yes, it's 44. So thank you. Apurva, you can please proceed.
Thanks a lot, Vedant. And it was really awesome. I guess everyone might be knowing now with the functions. Okay, so let us
That
move
too, yeah.
ahead to the next topic, that is module. Well, I will just share my screen. Yeah. Well, I don't want you all to bother again and again. But yeah, please tell me that is my screen visible and am I audible? And then we will move ahead. Yeah, I am waiting. Okay. Mhm. Just type with a yes in the chat box, so that will help. Yeah, thanks a lot, everyone. I guess I can now move ahead. So, uh, I don't know, like how many you have heard this word like before. So I know this screen is has something new with it. Okay, I have a cat that is typing something on the laptop. It is quite unusual, but yeah, you'll soon realize the thing that is behind it. And yeah, keep that as a secret with you, and just keep in mind that you have to deal with it further. So let us jump right into the topic, modules in Python. But before that, yeah, I need to introduce myself once again. So I'm Apoorv Goyal, and I'm like Pythonic, obviously, and I'm trusted in web technology, and I'm a space science enthusiast. So my specialization include web scraping. I've been doing it since 1.5 years. So that's enough for me. Then moving ahead, key takeaways and outlines for today are what are modules, using modules in Python, introduction to some cool modules, and some brainstorming for you. So I guess you all are going to enjoy that. And yeah, we can move ahead then. Okay, what are Python modules? Well, the definition says it's a simple .py extension file. You all must be knowing we save a Python file with a .py extension. So how is it different from a general file? Well, it includes function and classes that can be directly imported into some other .py file. You just learned about functions, so that will be really helpful for you to understand it in a better way. And just forget about classes for now, because we will be having that covered in some other session with object-oriented programming. So I told you what is a Python module, of course, done. But why do we need a Python module? We can define this function, these classes as Vedant told in a single file also. Why do we need that? So let us first jump in. Why use modules? So, of course, that will reduce your code and reduce your file size. But how? Okay, just imagine writing thousands of lines of code in a single file with, you can say, multiple functions. And on the other side, you write those functions in a file 2 and import them in file 1. So just imagine your size of file 1 decrease, and also that length of code is reduced. Right, very right, Kishan. I just saw your message here. So it also saves a lot of work in writing a logic again and again. As Vedant told, we can use functions and that will do our work whenever we require to use that. Well, we now know why to use modules and what are modules, because these are the very first thing that we need to learn while we are learning anything. Okay, you first need to know the what and why of that thing. Well, we will come on the how of modules soon. But before that, I have something for you. Well, this is a GitHub data Python from 2018, and it lists the varieties of libraries. To zoom it, I will open that, yeah, here, and for you, I will zoom it. So, Matplotlib, Plotly, Seaborn, PyDot, and a lot of them, Keras, TensorFlow. These are some modules that are provided by Python, and that is why Python is so, you can say, popular, because whatever you want to do can be done with these libraries very easily. You just call a function, and yeah, we're done. That's it. So, okay, I'm reading some chats in the chat box. Yeah, you are right, Umar Shankar. Exactly. So, moving ahead, I'm just showing that because there are a lot of modules. You can say thousands and you can say millions of modules in Python, and you can't just know each and every one. So, but today I will tell you how to use a module and how to make your own module. Okay. Well, we are not going to deploy any module for now, but yeah, we will see how that works within files. So, jumping back to where we were. So, here we move next to using modules. Well, what you all can see here is a function add that is given two arguments, num1 and num2. So what we are doing here, we have three files, file1, file2, and file3. We simply include this particular file, I will use a pointer here, this particular file in file1, then in file2, and then in file3. Well, this saves a lot of our time because we don't have to write that particular function again and again in file 1, file 2, and file 3, as told earlier. But I guess everything when seen with just images and all won't make you understand it properly. So let us see its live demo. So I guess most of you are having IDE for that. I use Visual Studio Code for that. And to make things faster and easier, I've already maintained a particular, uh, you can say, directory here for you. Well, this is our main.py file, and this is our magic.py file. So why main, why magic? You will come to know. What I am going to do is, in this magic.py file, wait a minute, I will open this here. So just drag and drop. Yeah. What I am going to do, I will define a function in magic.py. So let us start with that. Def magic. Okay. So I just need to see that again. Yeah. Now what I will do next is I will write a print statement here. A simple print statement. Okay. In format. Yeah. So I am the answer to the whole universe. Well, this is something this is for you. So, can anyone tell what this particular thing is? I'm defining a variable here also. So, what is the value of num here? Can anyone tell me? Yes, I have zoomed in. I'm really sorry for that. So, here it is. Can anyone tell me what is this particular thing? I am the answer to the whole universe. I will give you a hint. It is a simple number, and okay. So without wasting much time, I will tell you. This is number 42, as discussed in a sci-fi fiction book, Guide to Hitchhiker's, or something like that. Okay, I don't remember the name. Well, I will use that here, and what this function is doing, as you all can see, it is simply running a print statement. Now, since we have to create our own module, what we are going to do is we are going to import this magic.py in main.py. So this is the same which what we are doing here. What we are doing, we are including module to file 1. Simply, we are including magic.py to main.py. So how we do that? It works this way. From magic, this is basically the name of the file you are including, or you can say module now. And then you use import from magic, import magic now. So what you did, you named the file magic, and you said, yeah, I want to import this particular function from here, magic num. Okay. So when you have imported this magic num, you can simply write magic num. This. What it is doing, it is simply calling that function in this main.py file. So you can assume like this particular function is now assumed to be written somewhere in between here. And when I will run this particular code, yeah, you got your answer. I am the answer to the whole universe 42. Well, this is the thing. You have made your first module, and you must be proud of that. Okay. There are some other ways we can include a module. Okay. Suppose if there are numerous functions in this file, magic.py. So I'm not going to name each and every function like magic num, function 1, function 2, okay, and so on. So what I will do is either I will use star. What this star does is star is simply like signifying everything. It is saying from magic.py import everything. That means if there's any function there, if there's any class there, include each and everything from there. Or the other way around is you simply use import magic. So what it does, it will simply import your file. But now you will get an error which says red line in the magic num. Why? Because you have included the file, but what about the function? You haven't included it yet. So you will do it like that. You will write the uh, name of that particular import, okay, magic dot function name. So now when I will run it, it will work pretty fine for me. I am the answer to the whole universe, 42. So there are a lot of ways you can include it. And one more thing I would like to tell you is, and the best thing is, if the name of this particular module is quite large, suppose magic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a lot more, okay, you can do is import magic as mg. So what it it simply set a, you can say, alias uh, to this particular name magic. Okay, yeah, import all the fun, Naga. You are right. This is a real fun. And this is how you can import any module. And you must be proud. You have made your first module. Right. Now, let us dive in some modules that are provided with Python that I would like to discuss today because that will give you an idea how to deal with different modules. There will be three modules that I'm going to discuss now. And yeah, you will come to know. I won't tell you before that. So, math and random module. These are two different modules. Okay, these are not combined modules. And the thing is that these modules are uh, like quite useful, and they come into use most of it. Okay, so you can read this particular image here. Sociology is just applied psychology. Psychology is just applied biology. Biology is just applied chemistry. Then which is just applied physics. It's nice to be on the top. When the mathematicians come and say, "Oh hey, I didn't see you guys all the way over there." So this is the, you can say, swag of a mathematician, right? How to import all the functions, Vishal? I have already told that. You can simply use from space name of the file. As yeah, I will tell you again. Just a second. Uh, from magic import everything and done. Okay. And in this case, you have to change this also. Okay. And this is how it will work. Well, now coming on to math and random module. Let us see what they are. So I have opened Google Colab here, connecting to it. So I imported math module here, just like I did in that particular VS Code, okay, for that file magic.py. Now import math will run as it is. Well, this math module has a lot of functions with it, but I'm going to discuss some of them here. Okay, so maths.seal is basically you are calling a function seal that is defined in this math module, and it is taking the argument as a number. Okay, this number can be integer or a decimal. So what it gives is, it gives a round off digit nearest to this particular number that is passed. But one thing to remember is, it gives a digit that is higher this particular integer. So here the integer is 4, so it will return 5. No matter whatever the value is after decimal, it will always return a value 1 greater than the integer. So suppose it was 54, then what it will return? Yeah, it will return 55. Okay. Similarly, we have math.cost. You must have studied about cost functions, right? It will take argument as a, you can say, I forgot just about that. So bad at math. Yeah, it is radians. Okay, it will take the angle in radians. Oh, the typo. Yeah, and whenever you run that, it will give you a value. Just like that, you can use factorial, just Vedant just discussed about. You have to find 10 factorial, then you don't have to write those particular function again. Okay, you can simply use math.factorial, and yeah, you got it. 3628800. So you can see what is the power of these particular modules, right? And similarly, math.floor is a little different from math.seal. Please do focus here, because math.seal returns a value one higher than the integer value, while math.floor returns a value that is equal to the integer part of that particular number that is passed. So here I have passed 3.8, it will return 3. If I have passed 10.8, then it will return 10. Okay, just like that. Well, there's some other function also, max.itsClose, and you can use that whenever you need to compare whether two numbers are quite close or not. Well, this is quite useful function when you are dealing with some a problem that includes a lot of maths and you have to compare a lot of values. Okay, you can run a loop and use that particular function. So it will return a boolean value. Okay, it says true. Why? Because here 2.655 minus 2.200 will give you anyone? Okay, so 0.455. Okay, and this way it is less than the total I have given here, zero point 0.8. Okay, so since it is less than the difference I have defined here, it will return a true. It says that yeah, numbers are close enough. Well, you have now an idea of math. So mathematicians, let's now move ahead on the random module. I guess you are getting it all. Okay, well, random module is named with random. Okay, I will simply run these two cells, and another module is time. So time module is basically you can get time at a particular instance using this time module. So why I am using it here? Let me first uh, insert a cell here. So what I will do is I will simply write random dot random. Let us see what it gives. So it gave me a value 0.537, so and so. Now, you know what random means. It means that it will give a new value each and every time you run this particular cell, right? But let us see if that happens. Yeah, it is going fine. But in some compilers, a same value is returned again and again and again. What happens is, suppose you get 0.396 at the very first run, okay? So when the next time you run this particular cell or that particular file, including this particular, you can say command, uh, it won't give a new outcome. Okay, it stores that particular random value somewhere in the memory and returns that particular value again and again. So of course we need to fix that. Random means random. We want something random. Okay. So for that we have a function defined in random, that is dot seed. What this dot seed does is it will take a argument. Okay, argument can be anything, any number. So suppose I give 5. So what it will do, it will set 5 as the initial value. Okay, basically it will set a seeding point. Okay, that whenever I'm using this seed function, it will make sure that every time I'm getting a random number, it is not generating, it's not taking the same number as previous one from the memory, right? So why I use time.time here? Coming to that, time.time is basically you will get a particular, you will get time at a particular instance, right? So obviously each second the time is changing. So whenever I will use a seeding of time.time, it is different each time, and obviously it will give a random number each time. So that is a clever approach. Yeah. Okay. So now you have an idea of random.seed. I don't know what is going wrong with it. So moving on to this particular PPT. I guess you all have got like a nice understanding of these particular modules, because something is coming for you in the next slide, and I won't go to the next slide until and unless I got a reply from you all. So please reply with a yes if you have got it, and I will move ahead. Yeah. So I want a reply. Come on, give me a reply. Reply with a yes, and I have some question for you, some interesting thing for you ahead. I'm waiting. Okay, nice. Thanks a lot. So I guess this is the time. I have to move to the next slide. Nothing for you. Can anyone guess what this module is? Is that seem something you can say fishy? Okay. Uh, Obviously, I don't think that any module can be named like that. So I have provided something for you, a hint here. Okay. So hint is sequence of characters that define a search pattern using some expression. So would anyone like to answer that? Just give it a try, no matter it is wrong or right. Obviously, I will be telling that. Tell. I'm waiting. Thanks a lot, everyone, for your responses. So, just tell me what module I'm talking about. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Any wild guess? Uh huh. As I've told you, is for that is I was working on a project and I had to change a lot of paths at once. Okay, these image slash logo.png. Okay, so what I did, I went to this Visual Studio Code and I wrote a regex module, a regex expression for that. So to understand it well, uh, we will come back to here. Yeah, I will open the collab notebook for that. Yeah, it is here. Okay, so cool. Yeah, here I go. Oops, I opened that again. My bad. I will open the notebook. So here it is, regex. Well, so now I will just go fast forward for you, okay? Because network was lost. My bad. Okay, so it is imported with the name RE. Okay, so here you get one thing that not every time the name of the module is same as the name of the import. Okay, well, I have imported this RE here, regex module. So I will tell you what this does is whenever we have to find a character in a lot of codes, okay, I suppose I have written a whole text file and I have to find any character that is except a new line, okay. So what I will use, I will simply use a dot, okay. So I will simply use a dot there, and if I want to find a digit, I will simply use backslash d. If I want to find a non-digit, I will simply use backslash capital D. Right. So yeah, now I will show you some uh, real example for that. Here's a site regex. I will tell you regexr.com. So can someone share the link in the chat box there? Oops, I got shit. I haven't shared my screen there. I guess today is the I can't say what's happening. I'm trying my best. Huh. I guess the screen is visible now. So what I have told you right now is I will tell again. I have imported this RE module here, regex module, and here it is the some expression that will help us to find a particular string. Okay, so here I go. Yeah, uh, this is a site regexr.com. I will write it in the chat box. Okay, so you can open that. I guess it will work. Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. So what it will help us with, it will simply provide us with some random text, okay, and we can test our regular expression here, okay. So as we have learned here, you can see that if I use a dot, it will return any character except a new line, right? So let us see how it works. So I have used a dot here, and see it is highlighting each and everything here, okay. It is highlighting each and every character in this particular text file. Now, if I use backslash d, what this particular line says, it will like it will show me digits in those particular file. Okay, so I have used backslash d. Oops, nothing here because I haven't used any digit. So let us type one for you and see. Here you go. Are you able to realize that how important it is and how useful this module is for us? I guess you must be realizing that for now. but soon you will realizing that more. Then you can use backslash w, okay, that will return all the words again, okay. But if you use capital W, it will return only the spaces. Yani it will return each and everything except the characters. Cool. Yeah. So there are a lot of you can say characters here to explain you. Okay, you can use backslash s for searching for a white space. You can use backslash capital S for non-white space. You can use backslash b for word boundary. You can use backslash capital B for not a word boundary. So let us see how this particular thing works. Uh, See, I will use here backslash s, and see it gives me all these spaces. But when I use capital S, it gives me everything except spaces. Okay, and it is also showing here to me that it is a non-byte space. That this particular you can say combination means that we want to search for a non-byte space text, right? And similarly, when you move ahead, uh, I will tell you only those particular things for now that will help you do a job that I'm going to give you just now. Okay, we will do something amazing. Okay, so see, matches characters in brackets. Okay, so you can see here, uh, this is a square bracket. What it does is, whenever I will use a square bracket, I can define at a time that what kind of characters I want. Suppose I want small letters also, capital letters also, digits also. So I will use A to Z, small a to small z. So see, it is highlighting only the small case letters. Then I will use capital A to capital Z, right? And it will return all the small case letters plus the large case letters. Now I will use what you say 0 to 9. So what I did is I gave a range 0 to 9. You can hover over here and you will realize what it is doing. Okay, so it is also highlighting now these numbers also. I can use dash. Suppose if I have a dash here, it will highlight a dash. I have underscore, I have a dot, okay, I have a star. So just include each and everything here and it will highlight that for you. Okay, got it. So it is used for you can say searching for multiple types of characters at once, characters or numbers, right? Then the next thing is either or and group. I'm telling you only those things that we need right now because our network was lost and we have spent a lot of time over there. So I don't want you to get you can say, oh, what is going on? Okay, so like that. Well, coming on to this particular thing, the either or and group. Group is something where you can search for a string at once. Okay, so see, if I search for explore, it will highlight explore wherever it will find explore in this particular file. Suppose I search for by, it will highlight all the bys here, right? And this way we can use now. Suppose want to search for by also. I want to search for the expression to also. So what I will do, I will use by this bar and to. Okay. So what it will do, it will search for by also. It will search for to also for me. Okay. I won't give a space here. Yeah. It will search for a by. It will search for a to. If I also want to search at the same time R, it will search for R also. It may be included in share. It may be included in custom. Okay. It will only look for this substring. Okay. You can say this a substring. I hope you're all getting that. So just reply with a yes so that I can feel like more enthusiastic, okay, and explain you that really well. Okay. Well, you guys are really awesome because that makes me more energized. Well, the next thing is we are now going to do something cool stuff. But before that, one more thing. What I used here is by, to, and are. Suppose I will come back to the square bracket example, A to Z. What I want to do now, I want to select multiple A to Zs at once. For example, see what I am saying here. Suppose, let us take this regxr. Okay, I want to search for a string that starts with capital R, and then I don't bother what comes after that, but it should start with capital R. What I will do, I will say capital R. Okay, it search for capital R strings. Okay, and then I use a square bracket. Then I say it should be a uh, alphabet, but the problem here is it is only highlighting one alphabet. So do you want me to write A to Z, A to Z, A to Z thousands of times? Of course not. You don't want me to do that. So we have plus for that. What this plus will do, it will keep searching for a lowercase alphabet, okay, uh, after R, until and unless it finds some other character. So why it stopped here? It founded a space here, okay, and that is not a character. That is not a lowercase alphabet. So it obviously stopped there itself, right? Well, now I guess I have told you those particular things that we need to do some tests. Okay. Now coming on to the test, I will do one thing. Uh, I will go back to the VS Code here. Okay, and here I will select this image slash logo.png. I'll copy that. I will come back here, delete all of this, and then I will write image slash uh, abc2.jpg. I will say image slash GDB. Okay, GDB is an online debugger. Okay, and I will search for go with JPG. I may also go with image slash uh, DevScript. Okay, dot png. It is done. So I will take you can say GIF. What do you say about that? Yeah. Now my task is to search for all these particular strings at once. Just imagine, this has logo.png, this has abc.2.png. So why not think like a regex person? Okay, so now you know about regex. So how you will think? You will think, okay, you will see, I have something in common here. So you have something in common. Why waiting for? What are you waiting for? Just write image slash img slash and see, it highlights img slash since it is common in all of these strings. But then you have to set up a expression such that it search for a substring that may include a lowercase letter or a number, right? So what I will do, I will use square brackets. Remember, I told you square brackets, you can define multiple types of characters there. Okay, it may be alphabet, digits, or anything else. So I said here, I want A to Z. So it highlighted uh, logo. Okay, L of logo. Why only L? Because I haven't used a plus here. It highlighted logo. It highlighted ABC. It highlighted GDB. It highlighted DevScript. But what next? I need these numbers also to be highlighted. So simply use 0 to 9. See, it highlighted 2 to 3 also. See, I am doing it so in a good way. Okay, so you all are doing that. I hope so. And then becomes another task. Okay, I will also write dot. So, well, this is not a right way. See, if it continues like that, I don't want. Okay, I don't want it to go like that. Well, you can use a dot, but this is not the right approach because suppose you are doing in use so what you will become something that is after png. Okay, so I don't want that, right? Well, the correct way of doing this is I will use grouping. But in grouping, I will tell them, tell this expression. I will say, okay, what you do for me is particular things now, a dot png or jpg or jpg. And suppose I don't want to find the .gif files. So it is giving me a power in my hands that yes, I can only find the desired extension files. Okay. While in the previous example, just a seconds ago, you saw that it was highlighting all of the four. I don't want that. I only want PNG, JPG, and JPG to be highlighted, and I want to change that. Sorry. Okay, so I can change that whenever I want. Well, you can use replace for that, right? Now see the magic. I have used A, B. Oh no, I will use something new. What you all want me to use? Okay, but I will see that. DevScripters, you are awesome. And voila, what you are able to see here, you are able to see that it has replaced these all with descriptors. You are awesome. These particular things mean that they are not no more in the text. Okay, so that means they are no more in the text, right? Yeah. So you have now become, you can say, you have now know about regex and regular expressions, you can say, and you can now use that anywhere you want. And for a motivation, I still have something for you, and that motivation is, uh, yeah. So in one of my projects, I faced the same problem, and I found a solution for that. So it was the same problem. I want it to change all these. Okay, so why not copy that from there itself? Okay, so I will copy that what we just learned now. So just I will copy this particular expression. Okay, Control C, and then I will paste that here and see it has searched about all these src tags. And see, VS Code give me a lot of power in my hand, and the rule of thumb here is just right click on any of the highlighted substring and click on change all occurrences. And whenever you will hit a backspace, see, this is magic going on. Okay, you will change here, suppose https www.google.com, and see, it has changed every src tag to go www.google.com, which might would have be a tedious task for you when you would have done it manually. So now I'm damn sure, yes, I'm damn sure you all have realized how important this particular regex expression is for us. Okay, whenever you are dealing with any kind of file. Okay, well, moving on to some Python ways. Uh, how you do that in Python? In Python, you simply do one thing. Okay, what you do is you pass the txt equals to suppose yeah, the same thing, image slash db dot jpg jpg, and simply use re dot match. Okay, it will take two arguments. You can see here the pattern and the string. So I will copy the pattern here, then I will pass the string here, and it will return me a bool value whether it is true or not. So what you are expecting is, okay, it returned an object for me. Okay, it returned that yes, this match found is image slash ab.jpg. Sorry, I used bool. Yeah, so it will tell me whether, yeah, this match is found or this match is not found, right? So I will use here db. Well, I don't need that, but I will do that for you. Okay, so you can see how this regex module is important for us. There are number of functions in Python: re.match, re.search, re.find all, and a lot more. So you can see about that, search about that, and I will prefer you go to w3schools.com and you will get everything about that. Even if you face some problem, please bother to either write in the chat box right now, or if you face a problem later on, ask in on the group, or you can DM me. I'm available in all the groups with this name Apurv itself. And yeah, I will be sharing these resources on the GitHub repo, so you can check that there also. Well, moving on to the end, I would like to give some small tips to you. Okay, treat regex like this. Okay, open your favorite editor and let your cat play on your keyboard. Now you must be realizing why I use that particular image in starting. Okay, because regular expressions like that, first of all, you don't get that what it wants to convey. This expression wants to convey, but once you do that, you are a real powerful guy or girl. Okay, and please, okay, treat regex like this. I will find you no matter how far, no matter what occurs, and no matter what kind of regex I need. Okay, but one thing that is my rule of thumb, that I always end up with a quote, and the quote for you is this: since yeah, any fool can write code that a computer can understand, good programmers write code that humans can understand. So this is a humble request from you all, that keep this as a keynote for you, and make it a practice that whenever you use something, whenever you use whenever you're writing a code, just keep in mind that you follow the best practices. You can see in the background, okay? It has used integer height. This guy has used float number, and it hasn't used some variable like x equals to 100, y equals to 2, and like something like that. Okay, so these are the best practices, and even if you go in the interviews, or even if you go somewhere else, like you show your code to some good developer, he will always check first that whether you are following the right practices or not. Well, this code is written by Martin Fowler, so thanks to him. A note from Team DevScript, and yeah, you can connect with me. Gracias. Yeah, first of all, thank you. You can connect with me on the social handles, LinkedIn. Yeah. So this is how my LinkedIn will look like. Mhm. Okay, so you can find that there yourself. Yeah. So I guess there's yeah, wonderful session for you all, I guess, and you must have realized each and everything and got each and everything for you. So this is how my LinkedIn look like. Okay. Yeah. So you can connect me here on Twitter, and you can also connect me on my Instagram page, Program Addiction. Yeah. Okay. If you want, I can share the PPT for reference, or yeah, I will share the Google Colab notebook at least. Okay, so you can write in the chat box how was that session for you, and yeah, uh, great. Thanks to all the team DevScript for organizing these sessions, and yeah, like really, there's a lot of hard work going behind that. So really appreciate that, and thank you everyone. Thank you to all the audience. Yeah, thank you. Signing off.